Hi, I'm Brian Sims with Heavy Metal Frequency, and today we're talking about one of Steve Vai's newest albums, Inviolate. This is the first of a series of 5 albums that he was working on, and this is an excellent instrumental album. Most of his albums are instrumental, and it uses a wide variety of genres. You can you can see on the cover he's holding a triple neck guitar. It's a 7-string guitar, a 12-string guitar, and a 4-string bass with sympathetic strings. It's a custom guitar called the Hydra. And so as an instrumental album, this covers a wide variety of genres like jazz, fusion, progressive metal, ambient. The first track, Teeth of the Hydra, which is just the guitar of the Hydra, is, I would consider it a technical ambient song. Which it's a long passage that uses some textures of other genres like metal and stuff. And one of the things you'll notice about the Hydra is those are sympathetic strings. That's basically a harp. I think it's a 13 string harp on the back of the guitar, and you can hear it on the song. The one thing that I would say that strikes me as strange about Inviolate is that most of the promotion for this album is based around the Hydra guitar, and it was only used for that one track. And there was a lot, I know that there was a lot that went into making this guitar and everything, but that just strikes me as kind of odd that much was put into the promotion of this. And there are videos on YouTube of just like cinematic teasers of the Hydra guitar, and it was only used for this one track. And of course, Steve's going to use it in the future on other albums. This is the first of a sequence of 5 albums he was working on basically at the same time. And so he'll use the Hydra at some point on other albums as well. As far as the other tracks on this go, there's a Peter Green inspired song that I really like called Greenish Blues, and it's a hybrid of jazz and blues. It's basically a jazz fusion track or a Texas blues track, depending on how you want to look at that. Texas blues is a genre that's somewhat associated with people like Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's blues with jazz elements, and there's a lot of amazing stuff that went into Inviolate. There's some of the tracks like Avalancha sounds like a more typical Vai song. It's more progressive metal, and it's catchy, has some depth to it. And other tracks like Knapsack, he recorded with one hand. He got trigger finger from holding a note for too long, and he wrote and recorded it with one hand. And there's a video for it of him just playing it with one hand. It's incredible. And other tracks on it, there's what I like to call psychedelic jazz. There's some like trippy jazz stuff on it, like the song Knapsack seems like it's based around jazz with some other touches, dry guitar signals versus wet guitar signals. Candle Power is an interesting song because it's a dry song that he wrote on a birthday, and he wanted to challenge himself in ways that he had never done before when writing it. So he used a Jim that used a Stratocaster neck, which Stratocasters are a little bit more difficult to play, especially when you compare them to something like Ibanez Jims. And he invented a new playing technique called joint shifting for that song. And Steve is now one of the only guitarists ever that has invented his own playing technique, along with a couple of other guitarists like Eddie Van Halen, who invented two-hand tapping, and Buckethead. Other tracks that are on this, Zeus in Chains it's more of a progressive metal song. It has some really interesting use of a wah pedal. My favorite songs on this would probably be, my favorite song on this would probably be Avalancha, because it's more of there's some familiarity with it. It sounds like something that would be on a couple of his other albums, and it's him it's Vi playing towards a more progressive metal side. It's a little bit harder than some of the other stuff because parts of this album are more based around ambient and psychedelic and jazz and stuff like that, rather than things like progressive metal and progressive rock. So this is a fantastic Vi album. I would, if you're new to Vi, Passion and Warfare gets brought up a lot because it was his most successful and most revered album. And so if you're starting out with Steve, I'd probably suggest starting with Passion and Warfare. But if you're going for a second album, I would highly suggest Inviolate. Thank you for your time, and you can pick this up at FYE, Amazon, other places. Thank you.